I'm just going to move the camera because of I have that issue with the light. Now I've put LED bulbs in it. Welcome back to another stream. This is the reattempt of what I was going to do earlier. I started the stream earlier and I got a text message and then I basically went out to get food. So I essentially had to cut the stream, unfortunately. It was a little bit unexpected, but I thought, yeah, I will go out and get food because I had some things to do later on. So I thought, I'll come out now. But welcome back to another stream. Today we've got a gig announcement. We're going to do the aftermath of this weekend's gig, and I'm going to talk about something that I did. Something that was supposed to on Friday, but it didn't happen, unfortunately. And it was something that I was talking about on streams for a long time. I was mentioning it for a long time and saying, look, I've got something on this date, but I can't say too much about it. And once it's happened, I'll sort of reveal all. And now the day has gone by, it is time to reveal it all. So we'll be doing that a little bit later on. So yeah, we've got a gig announcement, we've got that aftermath. So I thought I'd just do it all in one stream as opposed to doing separate streams. So we'll do the aftermath first because that is kind of like the one to get out of the way, and then we'll talk about the gig announcement and where I'm going to be playing, and actually where I'm going to be playing next. It's kind of come in and it's freed up what was one of my free weekends where I didn't have a gig, so I'm quite sort of looking forward to that. So yeah, so yesterday I was in the town of Sunderland. Now, I've never been to Sunderland before, and I want to tell you a little quick weird story, which is just absolutely mad, crazy, and bonkers. So, this year, you may or may not know, depends how active you've been on following me on social media, streams, etc. I made an announcement that I was going to take a step down from MCing to focus more on DJing. However, I had a few gigs lined up that I was, still booked to MC on, and I said that I would honour them bookings. I'd still do them if I was already booked for them. And yesterday was one of them in Sunderland. Now, the crazy thing about it is, 2015, when I started MCing, I was playing with a friend online who was from Sunderland, and he was the kind of guy who said, sort of like, oh, you should give the MCing a go. And the crazy thing about it is that I never ever got to meet that guy. I only ever played with him on the PlayStation. And then it was just crazy that the year I announced I was taking a step down from MCing, I get a gig in Sunderland, which is his hometown. And I text the guy, and he was like, "No way, as if you're coming up to Sunderland." And he was going to come to the event, but I don't think he did. Well, he didn't. He never came up and shook my hand anyway. So I was a little bit gutted because I thought that would have just been absolutely amazing. That he kind of was the person that kind of inspired me to kick off this mad MCing journey. And then kind of, all these years later, when I'm kind of taking a little bit of a backseat from doing all that MC and stuff, I get a gig in his hometown and he would have the chance to come and actually physically meet me, but he didn't. So anyway, we was in Sunderland. It was DJ Lash's birthday, and we were celebrating her finally her launch of Boucneolagy. So I think she had a bit of bad luck with the previous events, and they didn't go ahead, or for whatever reason they didn't happen. Um, so but yeah, you know, for whatever reason they didn't happen. Sorry, I'm sidetracked with messages as well. So she put this event on, and it was celebrating her birthday. So I went down. I was MCing, obviously. Did end up DJing. and we had a fun night. We had a fun night. The event was, I would say, far from an absolute sellout. It was a bit of a quiet night. I'm not gonna lie. There was a point where it did get fairly busy, but it was just kind of people sort of coming in off the street, and then they'd come in for a little bit, and then they'd venture sort of somewhere else. But we had fun, and everybody had a good time, and the music was banging, and everything was kind of, everything was kind of going fairly well in that sense. And like I say, we was all enjoying ourselves, which was the main thing. And I had a good time. I get into a vibe, whatever the situation. I just have a laugh, and just enjoy myself. Whatever I'm doing, and yeah, just enjoyed myself and met lots of nice people. Some people I've met before, and then some people I haven't met. So when I went up to Scotland, there was some people from there that I saw again last night. So some people from Crazy Chaos, and some people from the Crazy Chaos page and stuff had come down, so I got to see them again for like the second time, meeting them, which was really nice. And they're a good laugh, and it's nice to have a laugh with them. As much as I have a passion for music and everything I'm doing. I do like to have a laugh with friends and enjoy myself as well. And that was definitely what I was doing. Having a laugh and enjoying myself, which is it's needed as well. Because sometimes you can. Although don't get distracted from the lane that you're in. You're in a lane and you're on a path, but sometimes you do need that just had to have a laugh. And when you've been at work all week and you've got this going on and that going on, sometimes you do need to just have a little bit of a laugh as well. And I liked just having fun, and just being a part of what was going off in that sense. So massive shout to Gemma for inviting me. Unfortunately, a couple of the other MCs, I think they pulled out, so it was kind of just me, kind of hosting the whole night really. At first, I didn't really do too much on the mic because I thought, as much as no disrespect to the DJs that were on, but I didn't want to kind of do myself in, because I thought if it is going to get busier, it's going to get busier later on. The music's going to be a bit more pumping later on, and I just thought the vibe will be better then, and I can go in a little bit more, and I did. Whereas if I'd have just started, full on spitting from the start, it would have it would have tired me out, and then later on I would have just been wanting to sit there and chill and not really do anything. But yeah, it was a really good vibe in that sense. I had a good laugh. So once again, big ups to Gemma for inviting me down, and hopefully her brand does continue, and hopefully it does grow. And I do wish her all the best with the brand going forward. And again, thank you for having me involved and having me down. So, gig announcement. So, gig announcement came in, and I think I did tease it on a stream the other day, and I said, artwork's going to come anytime now, and the artwork came on Friday, but I was just busy. I didn't have time to announce the artwork on YouTube and announce the stream, announce it on the stream. So I'm going to do it now. So family raves are taking over, and like kids raves, I've been booked for a family rave, and this one is actually quite special for me because this actually is the first time me playing at this specific venue, but this venue was the place where I went to my first ever rave. So I'm playing at the Lodge in Bridlington, and the lodge used to be formerly known as Utopia. It was a carvery restaurant place, but there was a nightclub there as well. And there was kind of like, the only way I can describe it is there was this almost like this big wall on wheels, and basically when they used it as a nightclub, they this big wall like pushed to a side on wheels, and it like opened up, and there was this massive dance floor and stage. And it turned into a proper nightclub, and the bar and everything, and then there was a big balcony with a smoking area on it, and they used to host their clubland events there. So a guy who used to promote events there, um, he run a brand called Remix. Well, he still runs it, but the venue sadly closed. And anyway, I went to my first ever rave there. Darren Styles was headlining, and then there was Kelly Lorena from Clubland and DJ Kutar, who was a part of Entrance, was DJing. And then they went on to do a few good Clubland nights there, and the venue sadly closed, and it changed into the lodge. It got sort of like revamped. It got turned into the lodge, and the guy who used to promote the events there, I think he's become a manager of the place, and he still puts events on there, but he does a bit of all different things. He doesn't run his big Clubland events there anymore. He takes them. They actually do a lot bigger, and he takes over places like the Bridge Spa, the Scarborough Spa, and puts massive events on with really big stage decor, and more like big like indoor festival vibes is the only way to describe it. But he promotes a lot of things for the lodge. He puts small nights on. I believe he's had the Blackout Crew there. He's had some big names like I think he had I forget the guy's name, but he was a big part of like the old school niche and bassline. Not Danny Bond. It was another guy, and I can't remember his name. But he's had some big names sort of involved at the lodge. He's put some biggish people on, and he's pushing it. And recently he put a family rave on, and it sold out, and it did really really well. And he wanted to do another one essentially because it did so well, and people was asking for another one. And we got recommended as somebody to, me and the layman got recommended as somebody, as an act basically to be on the lineup. And the guy Danny was straight over to the layman, and would you be available, and would you do it, blah blah blah. And then there was a little bit of you checking the diaries, and then, oh Noble, I've got this for us, you're free. Oh yeah, I'm free, kind of thing. And then yeah, we could do it. So we're doing a family rave. So there's no like that I'm aware of. There's no like headliners involved. It's not like when I did Rave Kids, and you've got Andy Whitby and Club Filler. It's more like there's like some local sort of like Brit DJs. I think Danny himself is going to DJ, and then I think there's a Scott Williams, I think, another one, and then myself and the layman are going to do kind of our thing, and we're going to kind of do the 5 p.m. Till 6 slot, I believe. So it's going to be a shed load of fun. It's on the 26th of May, so it's on a Sunday, so it's a bank holiday Sunday. So I'm quite looking forward to it. It's going to be kind of fun. It's going to be enjoyable. It'll be a nice little ride to Brid as well. I've not been to Brid for a little while, and like I say, that place holds a little bit of a special place in my heart because it was the first place that I went to experience a rave. I think I was like 18, 19 or something, and I just happened by chance to see a flyer in a bus shelter, and it's a Darren Styles. It said Brid, and we weren't sure where it was at first, and then we found out, and I was like, I have to go to it. And then he went on to bring the likes of Andy Whitby. He went on to bring the likes of Club Filler, Mark Breeze, Special D even came to one of them, which was, he put some amazing events on and really did well. So now to finally play in that venue is most definitely a little bit of a, it's a cool moment for me, because I'm going back to where I first started raving. When I first come out, sort of old enough into the music scene, When I was old enough to come out and legally buy pints and enjoy nightlife and sort of looking at DJs and thinking I wonder if I'd ever stand in their shoes, and now sort of doing that is an absolutely amazing thing. So I'm looking forward to that. So big up to Danny Williams on the booking. I'm looking forward to going there and playing, and I'm going to have to put some form of set together, which I'm looking forward to doing. So I'll have a speak with the layman. I think we're going to do a clubland set. I think that is the vibe that me and Layman like to do now when we do a lot of sets together. We feel like clubland, and it seems to go down well. Like we kind of did it at Rave Kids, and it went off. It was like a really nice. Because it's like almost it's like going bounce, but it's not like fully going bounce. So it's just a little bit slower, but it's kind of still got the energy that bounce has got, and then it really kind of sort of led the way into Benjamin going into his bounce. And then we've done Clubland. We did Clubland at the Wild Child in Skegness, and then that kind of went down well. We was kind of booked to do that. And that was obviously a shed load of fun. So I think the clubland for us, that's kind of like what we do. I mean, we are obviously if people want us to play something different, we obviously can and we obviously will. But I think we work well with clubland, and if we go with some really nice sing-alongs and some remixes, I'm gonna really kind of dig hard and see if I can find some new tracks and some stuff that is going to be really good, and we'll kind of see where we go. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be absolutely mental. So there's one thing at the beginning of the stream. There's something else I want to mention in this stream, and I forgot about it. It's come to my mind now. So I've got a little bit of exciting news for you. So you'll be pleased to know, or you'll be happy to find out or hear, if you've not been on Facebook, that I have now become a resident for Chain Reaction. So I'm quite excited about it. So residency is not something I'm always remotely keen on doing. I don't, but trust me, I don't like just take residency for the first thing that bites me on the hand and says come and join our team. There has to be a good reason in it for me, for why I want to be to become a resident for that brand. And they asked me when I was at their last event, and they basically said what they was kind of why they wanted me as a resident, what would kind of happen. So they said they'd book me 3 times a year for events. So I looked at that as that's a guaranteed 3 bookings a year, where I'm getting out and about and playing out. So that's a good thing. And they're a really nice team as well. So I'm gonna just see how it goes. Essentially, I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see how it goes. And they're a good brand, and I do like to push good brands and people that are doing things for the right reasons. So we'll see what happens. I'm not saying it'll be a forever thing. Who knows where life throws and where life takes you. But they've always given a lot of support to me, and they've always been good to me, and I'm quite happy just to be a part of the team really, and it's a really good really good thing. So I'll be playing their next event, and then I believe that'll be it for the year, because I have played 3 events this year if I do the next one, and then next year I'll do 3 events again, I would imagine, and then it'll just kind of go like that, and it just gets rotated as well. So some of the other residents will play sets and as well, and then it just it changes the lineups up a bit. But I'm looking forward to it. So big shout to Sean and David Kleiny for giving me that opportunity, and let's absolutely smash it in. So finally, last but not least, the plan, the idea that failed. So on Friday there was supposed to be something happening. It had been in the pipeline for a very, very long time. Probably since mid to late January was when I first started putting the feelers out for what I was planning to do, and it all went Scooby Doo, unfortunately. And not to my what I wanted to. Obviously, I didn't want it to go Scooby Doo. But anyway, this is not how I wanted to mention it on stream. Because I would have hoped it had gone a lot differently. The plan was for it to go a lot differently, but unfortunately it didn't, and I now have to accept that that's what happened, and unfortunately, it is what it is. So, so late January, I wanted to surprise. Well, the layman has his birthday coming up next week, so it's on Tuesday. So it's this Tuesday. And to cut the story short, the layman had told me that he doesn't celebrate his birthdays. He hasn't done for a long time for various reasons. So last year I surprised him with a meal. It went down, really nice, and he said, "Look, I don't celebrate my birthdays. I really enjoyed this." So next year, I kind of wanted to, give him something a little bit more than just a meal. I wanted to give myself and loads of people the chance to, kind of, say thank you and happy birthday and appreciation to everything that the layman does in the scene. And if you don't know what this guy does in the scene, then you need to get to know, because this guy is a machine, and this guy is probably one of the biggest faces in our scene, just through positivity, the graft he puts in, just how he brings people together, and it's absolutely amazing what this guy does, the amount of hours, the amount of miles he puts on the road, going to all these different events and doing all these different things, is absolutely crazy. So late January, I came up with the idea that I wanted to do like a surprise party, stroke an event for his birthday. So I started putting the feelers out. I started just asking a couple of DJs, look, I'm thinking about doing a little something. Would you be interested in playing? Just a few sort of like of his friends and stuff, and people who book him for events, and everybody was oh yeah, I'd be down for this, I'd be up for this. Um, so I inquired on a couple of things, and at first I was biting off more than I could chew. I'm not a millionaire, to say the least. So there was some ideas that I had to accept from the off. That look, you can't do this, Noble, so don't even try. So I had to scale it down a little bit, unfortunately. So I ended up hiring the Fusion nightclub in Grimsby, which was just a place where we were going to kind of host the party, and and then we kind of went from there. So I got this venue, started putting a little bit of a lineup together. Some of the lineup, like I asked people, and that they obviously sadly wasn't available. And then in the end, I had to put some people on the lineup that and this is no offences to them, but maybe originally I wouldn't have done. And they were kind of replacements for the people I couldn't get. This is no offences to them, but I wanted this lineup to be so as best as I could. I wanted it to be as close to what Lehman would have wanted or would have liked to have seen. But certain people wasn't available, and certain people were just out of like budget. I just couldn't afford to pay hundreds upon hundreds of pounds for somebody who just wouldn't have come and done it for really cheap or like next to nothing. So I had to obviously accept that I can't bite off more than I can chew, and book the biggest and the best, and book 2 grand headliners and things like that, which that wasn't really what it was about. It was about just celebrating something for Lehman, but there was just certain people that, even though for what the occasion it was, just weren't willing to unfortunately do it for not for cheap, which in some ways I can understand it. In other ways, it was just to come together for a birthday party, so I would have thought maybe as a one-off, but that's sort of the way it goes. So anyway, I built this lineup together. It started doing well. In terms of it all came together. I thought everything was kind of going nice and smoothly. We had a private group on Facebook where we was kind of where I was kind of like just sort of updating everybody and announcing everything. And it was a private group that the layman couldn't see. He couldn't join the group. He wasn't a bit, he wasn't able to see it. So everything was kind of sort of kept away from him. So he didn't really know what was happening. All he knew was that something was happening, but he didn't know what, because obviously I had to tell him not to take a booking on that night. I had to say, look, make sure you're free. There's a surprise for you, but I can't tell you what it is. And over time, he was guessing, he was querying, he was asking me little questions. He was trying to get like little things out of me. He was trying to say like, what's going on, what's happening. And I couldn't, I gave him a few little clues, but nothing that would really give it away. I just said, look, be free on the day. You might have to, you might just have to travel somewhere, but it won't be too far. And I teased him as well. I said, look, people are giving you love, because people in the private group on Facebook, they were writing nice things. They were sharing love, and they were saying like, this is a nice thing, and just how much Layman does for the scene and stuff, and it was really nice. And I was teasing him, and I was showing him like screenshots of what people were saying, but I was like cropping it out so he couldn't see like where that what the group was or what the group was about. It was just, look, this has been said that's nice about you, and then I wouldn't really tell him anymore, and I was trying to make him kind of like sort of like wonder what's happening kind of thing. And then I invited some more of his friends, and I invited somebody from Wales who is a good friend of his. And then sort of towards the sort of like getting closer to the event, she rang me up, and she just had a few chosen words and said, look, I don't think some of this is really going quite right, and I don't think he'll totally be satisfied, and he'll totally really like what's happening. And as much as I know she meant well, and she wanted it to do as well as possible, it really kind of made me self doubt myself, and it really made me think, because I was trying to do the best that I could. I mean, you can be good friends with somebody, but the true saying is you don't know people. You can have known somebody for years, but you still don't always really know them. And I'm just going off. I was trying to invite people by going off what I see. You know, when I go to events with a layman, like, who does he have a laugh with? Who does he talk to? So who would he like to see? At this like birthday thing, who would he be like pleased to see there? So I was trying to do it to the best, that I could, and admittedly, from my part, I did, maybe forget a few people, but there's a big friends list with thousands of people on there, and you're trying to think, and sometimes when you're in the moment trying to think too hard, you just don't always think of the things that are right there in front of you, close to home. So I did maybe like miss a few people, and a few things maybe what that they weren't organised maybe completely to the best, but it wasn't about the thing being absolutely perfect. It was kind of about sort of it just being like the thought was there kind of thing, and it was, look, happy birthday, people coming together sort of to say happy birthday. I was telling people, like, if you know people that know the layman, invite them to this group, and anything. I was giving people a good chance to say what they thought and what they wanted as well. And then it got to last weekend, and we had a mega weekend. We had an absolutely crazy weekend, where we did all them gigs, and the layman sadly overdid it and then injured his foot. and injured his leg, and he became unwell last week. And I knew like sort of on Monday that he wasn't too well in that sense. It was a bank holiday, I believe, as well. And we were just sort of seeing how the week was going, and I was texting him. He didn't it seemed like he was getting better. He was saying like, I haven't felt well. I've been in bed all day, that kind of thing. And then it got to Thursday, and I asked him on Thursday afternoon, how are you feeling? And then there was just a whole load of confusion in conversations through Messenger, different things, and essentially I wanted to ask him how he was feeling because I knew. Obviously, he didn't know, but I knew he was coming to a nightclub. I knew he was going to have to be on his feet for hours. I knew he was photographing a wedding the next day, and I just knew that, because of what it wasn't like just going and sitting down for a meal. It might not have been something he was capable of doing. And I'd got people down that would, they were travelling from different places, and I didn't want them to set off and then for him to sort of text me at 3 in the afternoon and say, I really don't feel well, we're going to have to call it off. So I took a safe option. So I pitched it to people who were playing in the group chat, and I said, look, the layman says he doesn't feel well. I don't want people to drive tomorrow if he's going to tell me tomorrow that he's not up for making it, because, I'd rather people not, put fuel in the car and set off and, travel to then sort of have to turn around or to get somewhere and then find out it's not happening. So I gave people sort of like a little bit of an option, and they all agreed that his health came first. His health was important, and all the rest of it. And then there was a bit of confusion in Messenger, and I called it off, and then there was confusion, and then in the end we just decided to leave it called off. Let's say that. So unfortunately, it didn't go to plan. I'm gutted that it didn't, because I didn't want it to not go to plan. I wanted it to go to plan. I wanted it to be a nice little night for Liam, and I wanted him to enjoy it. I wanted the other people to enjoy it, and I wanted it. It was only a one-off thing. It wasn't, I'm going to start regularly putting events on. It wasn't about putting an event on. It was just about, look, let's do something for the layman. Let's get some DJs to come together, and we'll throw a little party for him. We'll get people, that he associates with and people that he knows to come to the party, and it'll just be a nice way for people to obviously say, sort of like, happy birthday, and we appreciate everything you do for us in the scene, kind of thing. But sadly, it just didn't go to plan, and we wasn't, unfortunately, in the best. It wasn't, unfortunately, I forget the saying. It wasn't meant to be. That was the thing. It wasn't meant to be. So unfortunately, it didn't happen. People confused me. I felt like one person was saying one thing and another person was saying another thing. I do agree. Obviously his health, it does come first and stuff. But it was a shame that everything had kind of been planned, and then it obviously didn't go ahead. So what's my thoughts going forward is probably never do something like that again. Or if I was to do something like that again, to have somebody sort of help me sort of organise it, if that makes sense. But I think personally, like, it was just a nice idea to try and do something, but it just failed, unfortunately, towards the end. I do think, like, if unfortunately certain people hadn't have got involved, it would have gone a little bit more smoothly, because I got made to feel like, I got made to self doubt myself. That was one big thing for me. You know, I knew all along that I hadn't got it perfect. That was, I knew that from the off. I was just, I knew that I couldn't, bite off more than I could chew, and I had to scale. And limit things down, and it weren't totally perfect, but that idea was there. And then when I got made to feel like I was self, that I'd done it all wrong and it wasn't good enough, that's when I then kind of started to really, a lot of me didn't want to do it. Like I'd got put off like wanting to do it because I kind of thought like, if it actually, have I actually done it this bad? And then when I kind of revealed all to the layman, when it was obviously no longer going to happen, I said, look, I was going to do this for you. We did have this in mind. He was like, oh, and and I don't know if he was just saying that, but it sounded like he wouldn't have like kicked off and said, what have you done? No, but this is horrible, and walked away. Um, you know, um, I just kind of thought like, but at the time before he knew, I kind of thought, what if he is going to think that? What if he is going to say that? But it kind of sounds like to me like he would have enjoyed it to a degree. So anyway, so yeah, so gig aftermath, gig announcement, residency announcement, the plan that failed. So thank you for watching. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share. I'm going to have a brewski. I've got a cup of tea here. Very nice. And I am going to go on to FL. So make sure. Oh, actually, well, what I'm going to do is download some sample packs. I will tell you before I leave the stream. I've been watching James Hype on YouTube a lot lately, and he's been doing some pretty cool stuff. And I'm trying to pick up new ways in production all the time, and I'm trying to kind of not just. Although I make a lot of bounce, like I really enjoy making bounce. I really enjoy doing the remixes. I'm doing a lot of other stuff behind the scenes, and I'm doing stuff that I personally think is a lot better than the bounce that I'm doing. And that's nothing against the bounce. Like I love it and I enjoy it. But I've been writing some stuff, and one of the tracks is Goddard. And this stuff kind of it blows like the bounce stuff that I've done out of the park, and I've started to take on like trying to sort of like just learn a lot more and make some more commercial styled house tracks, and really just take some different approaches to my production and try some different styles. I've done trance bits. I've even done dubstep bits just for fun, but just learning and trying different things. I've done D&B bits, and just trying to really find some new styles and niches that I can delve into. Even if I do them under different aliases. So I've been watching James Hype, and he does a lot of production videos, and he'll do things like, he makes a track in say like 15 minutes, but he has to sample train sounds and stuff, and that's the one I watched today. And he was on like a train in like Japan or China or something, and he took some samples of like the tannoy while he was on the train, and like just some of the sounds, and he made it into a tech house track. And anyway, I found out he has a website, and he puts sample packs on them, and there was a couple of free ones. So I thought I'll just pick them up, and we'll see what happens. I'm still making a lot of bounce, and I won't be stopping making bounce because I love it, I enjoy it. But sort of stuff that I don't show a lot online, because I believe some of this stuff might do more. And this is no offense, it's to bounce people, and this is not me trying to sound big-headed, but I think I'm writing some stuff that is going to do more than just sit in the bounce heaven chart. I'm writing some really nice original stuff, and really taking song making to another level, and trying to learn. That is the biggest thing, trying to learn. And I think like even like I can learn so much stuff, and I can even take some of it back to bounce as well. And I love making my bounce, and that will never stop. But I really enjoy delving into some other stuff and finding different sample packs. And big thing what I've been doing is finding out like just different ways and different effects and different plugins and what different things will do. And that is a big part of what I'm doing. So I'm going to download these sample packs, and then I am going to go back to a project, a bounce track I've just started working on tonight, and that is going to be absolutely wicked. So let's do it. That's what I say. So yeah, so like, comment, share, and we'll see you soon. We've sent a conference.